felt like life just stopped for you while everyone else have moved ahead? Like you're stuck watching others succeed while you struggle to keep up? It's so easy to look at someone's success and assume that things just worked out for them. But behind every success story, there are countless struggles, failures, and moments of doubt. For me, life hasn't been a smooth ride, either personally or professionally. I have faced significant health setbacks, financial struggles, and moments of deep uncertainty. There were times when I felt like I was falling behind while my peers had everything figured out in their life, be it their careers, relationships, and a clear path forward. It felt like I was in a different world where things just didn't come out as easily. But here is what I've learned. Success isn't about having a perfect path. It's about resilience, adaptation, and learning from the setbacks that life throws at you. Today, I want to share a transformative phase of my life, not just the challenges I faced, but also the lessons I learned, lessons that I hope will help you overcome your own struggles and help you keep moving forward no matter what life throws at you. So let me take you back to the year 2010 when I was 23. A serious road accident had left me bedridden. I felt like life had completely paused. I couldn't move, couldn't see a way forward, and I wondered, was everything slipping away? But in that moment, I realized something crucial. Even when life throws its worst at you, you still have control over how you respond. It's not about how quickly you get up, but about the mindset you choose to carry forward. The physical pain was one thing, but the emotional struggle was far more intense for me. Days felt like weeks and weeks felt like months. I would lie there staring at the ceiling, wondering if I would ever be able to live my life fully again. But in those moments of solitude and in those moments of doubt, I started reflecting on something that changed everything: my mindset. Yes, I couldn't control the accident, but I could control how I react and respond to the situation. And that shift in thinking became my first turning point. In fact, I've made a previous video detailing how I used my time in bed to prepare for my MBA after repeated failed attempts. It wasn't easy and it required a lot of mental strength to stay focused on my goals during such a challenging time. If you want to hear more about how I turned that period of adversity and physical setback into an opportunity to grow and prepare for my MBA journey, the link of that video is right here. So growing up, I didn't came from a wealthy background. Everything I have achieved in life, I had to create from scratch for myself. After the accident in 2010, I was still working full-time, but due to the limited mobility I had, my employer allowed me to work remotely. But the salary in those days were very modest and I was on a nominal salary, and applying to global MBA programs wasn't cheap. Each application costed around $250 to $300, and with multiple applications, the expenses just kept adding up. It wasn't just the money, but it was the feeling of constantly running out of resources. But I didn't let that stop me, so I got a bit creative. I started reaching out to my mentors, and one of them offered me a proposal that I could help with mathematics assignment for his coaching program in exchange for the GMAT coaching that he would provide me. I didn't have anything to lose. It was a small gig, but it was a game changer. It taught me something profound, that our skills are the greatest assets we have. So just find ways to leverage them and opportunities will appear. So my key takeaway was that in tough times, get creative. Your skills are your most valuable asset. So find ways to use them to create opportunities for yourself. Networking and MBA experience. So fast forward to the year 2011, my MBA days in Singapore and Dubai. My body was still healing and I was often on painkillers, but my career goals couldn't wait. I knew that networking would be essential, so I made sure to show up, attend those events, and engage with professionals who could help me shape my future. There was this one evening when I almost didn't like going to a networking event because I wasn't feeling well, but then something pushed me to go forward, and I'm so glad I did, because that's where I met a senior executive from a top consulting firm. Didn't even have the perfect resume, but I had the right mindset. I made the effort to engage and show up, and it led to a conversation that helped me land my dream role. And this was a reminder that even when you feel your worst, your presence and attitude can open doors. It wasn't always about making contacts, but it's about being present. Even though I wasn't at my best physically, I knew the relationships I was building would pay off, and they did. So by the end of the program, I was one of the few placed with a top management consulting firm, something I couldn't have done without showing up and putting in consistent effort. So my key takeaway was that networking isn't just about who you know, it's about showing up even when you are not at your best, but consistency and presence can open the doors for you. So my next chapter was living independently as an NRI. So once I had completed my MBA, I made another leap, which was to move to Malaysia in the year 2012. This was my second stint and journey as an NRI, but this time I was living independently, managing my life, career, finances, and health on my own was extremely challenging. And as a young woman in a new country, I often doubted myself that can I really handle it all? And living in a new country can be an emotional roller coaster. There were moments when I really doubted myself, thinking that can I really handle this? Am I cut out for this life? But over time, I realized that these doubts were just part of the process. The key wasn't in waiting for these things to get easier, but it was in building systems that made things manageable. Every routine I established became a small anchor that gave me the confidence to face each day. But I learned that managing life independently is about creating systems that can work for you. I wasn't perfect, but I made sure to put routines in place for everything, right from budgeting to self-care, managing my health. It's not about doing everything perfectly, but it's about constantly moving forward with a plan, and little steps every day can build a strong foundation, and over time it became easier. So when you live independently, especially in a new country, you start to see what you are truly capable of. It's tough, but it pushes you beyond your limits, and that's where the real growth happens. So my key takeaway is that stepping outside of your comfort zone forces you to adapt and take full responsibility of your life. So if you're still young or if you're still single, I'd strongly encourage you to live independently. And as much as you love your family or you want to stay close to your parents, stepping outside of that comfort nest is the best way to experience life fully and develop resilience. Remember that real growth never happens when there is a comfort of someone being around always. So the next chapter was the financial lessons I learned. So when I was in Malaysia, one of the key important things for me was to clear out debt. So when I financed my MBA, I took an education loan because it was necessary at that time. But once I started earning and I had some decent savings, I made it a priority to pay the debt off. And many people think that paying off the EMI is enough, but the interest keeps accumulating. So if you are just paying the minimum EMI, you're not really getting ahead in your life. You're just keeping the debt alive. So whether it's a credit card debt or a personal loan or an education loan, whatever kind of debt you are in, if it's not helping you to build wealth or if it's not providing you any tax benefits, it's basically a bad loan which is holding you back. So paying off loan or debt isn't just a financial task, it's a mental one as well. And I'll be honest, there were times I was paralyzed with the worry that not knowing when and how I would be debt free. But once I made it a priority to clear it off faster, something just changed. That sense of freedom I felt after doing that last payment was beyond what I had imagined. It wasn't just a financial win, but more importantly, it was a mental win. So my key takeaway was that if you have a bad debt, then just clear it off as soon as possible. Your bank balance might be be lower for a while. For me, it was zero for quite some time, but the freedom from the debt is worth it. Next phase of my life was around health and self-care transformation. So one of the biggest lessons I have learned is the importance of health. When you are chasing success, it's so easy to neglect your health, but health is real wealth. And when I was pursuing my MBA, I found myself putting everything ahead of my well-being. The pressure, the long hours, and the stress all led me to gain a lot of weight. My clothes didn't fit, I felt sluggish, and I lacked the energy. My weight had actually increased a lot, and to a point where I just didn't want to look myself in the mirror because I was so ashamed of myself. And as a result, my confidence took a huge hit. And that was a wake-up call to me, a red alert that something had to change. So I couldn't continue that path if I had to feel good about myself and if I have to live fully. So I started taking action, and rather than making drastic changes, I focused on small, sustainable habits. I changed my diet. I incorporated exercise into my routine. I started practicing yoga, HIIT workout, functional training. Even though I wasn't fully recovered from my physical injury, but I pushed myself little by little. So over almost a year, I lost around 10 kgs. But more importantly, I regained my energy, my confidence, and vitality. So getting my health back on track wasn't just about losing weight. It was also about regaining my confidence. There were days I felt like I would never look or feel like myself again. But the real breakthrough came when I realized that my health wasn't just about the external appearance. It's about how I feel from inside. And when I started focusing on these small little habits, a little more movement here, a healthier choice there, over time, I noticed that it's not just my body changing, but also my mindset and my energy levels and my stamina were coming back on track. And, here is the thing, if your health isn't in order, no amount of money or success can protect you. All the savings, all the wealth you worked so hard to build can just quickly slip away when you are diagnosed with an illness or if you're not well. It doesn't matter how much you have earned if you can't enjoy because your health is compromised. And that's why health must come first. It's the one asset that ensures everything else will fall in place. So my key takeaway was that health is your foundation. Don't let the pursuit of success or external achievements overshadow the importance of self-care. Life can feel overwhelming, but I want you to remember that even the toughest times are part of your transformation. Each day you keep showing up is a victory in itself. I want to invite you to be a part of my ongoing transformative series where I will be sharing lessons on building a thriving career, financial success, and personal transformation. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share it with others. We are in this together, and I hope you will join me for the next step in this journey. Let's learn, grow, and build something incredible together. Unless I see you the next time, goodbye. Take care.